It's the best smelling hotel in Nashville. I'm telling you this right now. It's the best smelling hotel. We're live in Kitchen Notes, great food, great ambiance, great atmosphere. So every Thursday, we're here. Come down, say hi, have Kitchen Notes, and be part of the team, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Come check it all out. We love being down here. And, again, thanks to Todd Rodemel and his crew for having us here.
I feel you've got so many wires and so many boards and so many screens. I feel like you work for NASA.
Well, I
How's
had to
that
make
eclipse
sure.
coming Monday?
I guess it'll be good. I had to make sure we were all good to go here.
We are. And then I led into 3 weeks from the night, the National Football League draft. Let's get it going on. And
I know. Look, I'm ready. I'm tired of, like a lot of people, I'm tired of talking mocks and things like that. It's now I'm ready to see what's going to happen with the Titans and with the rest of the NFL and, where these guys are going to go. And, what's funny is we go through this every year, but especially on years where there's a little hype with the Titans and because they've been busy in the offseason,
right.
So we're, talking about them quite a bit. And also it's like, okay, well, could it be Joe Alt? Could it be Rome Odunze? Could it be Malik Neighbors?
Right.
Could it be, this guy or that guy or whatever? And you kind of you learn about all these guys, and then when they end up taking, Ed McCracken out of Nebraska that you've never heard of.
I know his brother really well. That I'm not going to say. No, but I go back to the NFL draft with the Titans. I go back to 96, right? 95, they drafted McNair. We did not know they were coming here. So we started paying attention in 96. They drafted Eddie George. And they moved here in 97. Do you remember who the Oilers took in 97 when they first came here that first year? He held out for 2 days. And it was like, why are you holding out, man? Do you remember who it was?
Was it Dyson was the second round.
Dyson was 98.
Or 98.
This was 97.
I don't remember.
Kenny Holmes.
Kenny Holmes.
From Miami. So you started paying attention to the draft. Besides the Mariota in 2015, I don't recall this much angst / hype / optimism going into the draft.
I think there was a little bit of it last year because they had 11. And you weren't sure, there were all these rumors that, the Titans are going to try and move up and, get Stroud or take a quarterback or whatever. So I think there was some of that. But I think there's that sense of, in some ways, maybe it's false optimism when it comes to the team now of, hey, one, I think we can all agree the AFC South is no longer the laughingstock of the league. Like it's going to be a much better division.
Correct.
And so I think there is, again, I would call it a cautious sense of optimism that, hey, the Titans aren't going to be as bad as everybody thought. They can get in there and compete. They've been very active in the offseason. They just got to fill a few more holes, and they'll be good. We know that it's not as simple as that.
Correct. Yeah.
It's more than just, okay, yeah, you're not going to be able to just fix everything in one offseason in the draft. Do I think they're going to be better? Sure. Could they potentially compete to make the playoffs? Never know.
That's the goal, man.
So –
yeah,
I think that's what it is.
Well, 2016, remember they had the number 1 pick in the draft. They traded out. They got Conklin that year. I think they came in at number 8. So the excitement, angst, opportunity was kind of put back because of that. And then, in 17, they had 2 picks at 5 and 17. They took Corey Davis and Adoree Jackson, who I still think, another injured player that John Robinson took at 5. Corey Davis was okay had he been drafted in the 6th round. But as a first-rounder,
I would even say –
nah.
I would say the production you got out of him here was probably that of a late second, mid-third, to mid-third round. He was almost a 1,000-yard receiver.
Well, so were you at one time.
That's actually not true.
And then 18 was a disaster with Rashaan Evans. Well, a disaster.
Yeah, one good.
And then 19, you hit a home run. You get A.J. Brown and Jeffrey Simmons, and then 20 and 21 and 22. With that being said, you go back now, a lot of optimism with the number 7 pick. It's pretty simple who you get. But then, as they say in war, nothing ever goes according to plan. And on that Thursday night, it's not going to go according to – it's not going to go like we think it is.
No.
It's not.
And I think that's
Harbaugh's
what's
going to screw something up. The Cardinals are going to screw something up. Somebody's going to trade up into the top 5 and bounce everything. And, yeah, if they stay where they are, I'll take Joe Alt. But – as Teron said yesterday, if Marvin Harrison Jr. is sitting there at number 7.
If Malik Neighbors is sitting there, you've got to think about it at least.
Oh, goodness, man. Yeah. I don't want to be in the shoes of Rand Carthon.
Like here's my question again, and we're going to play the scenario over and over and over and over again. If they take Joe Alt, nobody that knows anything is going to go, "What are you doing? That's a terrible pick. You should be fired," because you just got a left tackle that can be your left tackle and be the anchor on your offensive line for the next 10 years if he stays healthy. Right? You have that. So I would nobody would bat an eye there, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'd be happy to go. Yeah.
But what if they have Malik Neighbors ranked higher on their board and they think this guy is the next insert great receiver name here, and they take him, and then 5 years from now the story is he's all pro, he's the best receiver in the league, he's wanting a new contract, and the Titans have that guy. And maybe this time they'll actually pay the top wide receiver in the league.
Oh, yeah.
I think everybody's going to be happy with either scenario.
I think so, too. Also, you got with – Callahan said, I want touchdowns. If the opportunity compares, I want touchdowns more than anything else.
Right.
So that's what happens.
We are, as we mentioned, here at the Omni Nashville Hotel, where we're going to be every Thursday. This is our first one. We're very excited about that. Our man Todd Rodemel is here. Todd, I gotta just completely admit this and be honest. I've known you for a very long time. What is your title exactly?
I am Area Director of Sales and Marketing.
Okay. You're just the guy that gets stuff done around here is how I view it. Because whenever I have a question with anything with the Omni, somebody either tells me to go to Todd or I say, hey, where's Todd?
Well, we're fortunate with Cromwell and, of course, our guy Bud and Jeff. And, Jeff and Bud came knocking on our door before the hotel even opened like 11 and a half years ago.
Yeah.
And we've had this partnership ever since. And I was excited when I ran into Joe in the lobby a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we got this deal done, and we're excited to have you guys here.
Well, we're looking forward to it. And starting Monday, the Chasing Big Joe show presented by Omni Nashville Hotel. So So we got that going, which will be fantastic. But it's been a minute since we've been here.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Kitchen Notes is a go-to. I mean, you can come have breakfast here. I mean, I've had dinners here. I mean, special occasions. But the Omni has so many great things to offer.
We do. Kitchen Notes, obviously, breakfast, lunch, brunch on the weekends, buffet breakfast every day. And, Bob's Steak and Chop House, wine spectating award winner for 8 years in a row. And then, of course, Bar Lines, honky tonk, big place to go hang out before and after Preds games. And we can never forget about Mokara Spa either for that special someone in your life. We've got Mother's Day, so we need to.
I think Joe just needs to buy me a massage.
I'm going to. I'll just give you one during the break.
Well, I don't know about that.
Why don't you guys get the couples massage room together?
We could do that. When are you not busy? You had the country radio seminar last month. I came down here for a Preds game, and this place was packed. And then you tell me, they're moving out, and other big events coming in there. But busy's good because we went through 4 years ago when nobody was down there. So we talked about this, Todd, how now you're grateful for every moment, every person who walks in this building.
4 years ago, our hotel was closed. The lights were off. We went from 600 employees to 28 employees. Gosh. It was the darkest time of, I guess, our career, our life that we can remember. And so, yes, I'm thankful for this business in Nashville because of what Dina and the CVC has done to market this place internationally and domestically. That, yes, keep it coming. Give us all the business. I never want to go through that again in my life.
I remember I'd called you one day, and you called me back. You said, I'm sorry. Were you doing housekeeping duties? Or you were folding sheets? You were doing something that day because you had everybody, and it was like, hey, we got to keep it going. I was like, God bless you, Todd.
We did everything. I was checking people in. I was a bellman. I was a bus boy. I was helping in the kitchen. I was, helping clean rooms, folding. We did what we had to do to, try to keep our doors open and make it through it. And, our old GM, you remember Dan Piotrowski?
Yeah.
Dan Piotrowski, his word or his phrase was champions overcome adversity, and we always thought that, and we worked harder and faster and stronger, and we're back.
I love it. We also, this city is vibrant down here when the Preds are doing what they're doing. You see it every single day.
you can feel it when as the Preds go. Is you like you said, Joe? You can feel the electricity. Like when we had the NHL All-Star Game, when we made it to the finals. Just downtown is absolutely electric, and the boys had a couple tough games here, but goodness gracious, 17 games in a row with a point.
Yeah,
I mean,
fantastic.
you can feel it downtown.
Yeah, no doubt, and hopefully there will be a lot to feel downtown with the Predators coming up with a playoff run. Todd, we love being here. Thanks so much for having us. And Joe is on meal number 1. I'm sure he'll get to 6 before the show is over, and I'll.
Do
get
we
a
have?
couple
Is the
in as well.
I haven't checked. Is the oatmeal still over there?
Yes.
Oh my goodness! Chase the oatmeal. You can't have it till 11 because I need you during the show.
Okay.
But
All right. Well, you go test it and make sure
No,
it's
I
good.
can't.
Yeah.
I have to wait till 11. It's that good.
Todd, appreciate it.
Guys, thank you. Welcome back.
Yeah, good to be here. Todd Rodemel joining us here from the Omni Nashville, where we will be every Thursday. We'll continue the discussion on the draft and much more. But again, we have a huge show. Greg Wyshynski going to join us. We'll get into the Predators and the NHL with him at 9:30. Howard Johnson, former Mets infielder,
During the World
third
Series.
baseman,
Yep.
second baseman, Hojo for Mets fans. I know TD and Willie probably are doing backflips right now, excited. He'll join us at 10 o'clock. WWE two-time Hall of Famer, WrestleMania is this weekend. People have been asking if we're going to talk some wrestling. Booker T going to join us at 10:30.
How is he a 2-time Hall of Famer?
He is in on his own as Booker T, and he is in with his tag team partner, Stevie Ray, from the tag team Harlem Heat.
You tweeted that out last night, and I checked my Twitter about an hour later. So many retweets on Booker T.
He retweeted it.
He retweeted,
which
yeah.
would certainly help for sure. So looking forward to Booker T.
Yeah.
And Howard Johnson, Hojo, Greg Wyshynski, everybody. We're live today at Kitchen Notes at the Nashville Omni Hotel. It's Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe live today at the Nashville Omni Hotel, or the Omni Nashville Hotel at Kitchen Notes. Excited to be here. We'll be here every Thursday and tell you more about that. Greg Wyshynski going to join us in about 15 minutes, but discussing the Titans and the draft. Is this the most hyped? I'm just curious of everyone. Is this the most hype you felt pre-draft, post-free agency, big wave about this team in a while?
I think it is. Because the optimism is, when's the last time they had a position of critical need and they had the right person to draft, right?
Right.
So they know they need a left tackle. They've got the premier left tackle. By all accounts, it's going to be sitting there waiting for them at number 7. When's the last time that happened? I mean,
Yeah.
in 19, they needed Jeffrey Simmons, but it wasn't critical. A.J. Brown in the second round needed a receiver. It wasn't critical. Now they have a critical need, and they have the right guy to plug in. And I think that's what people are like, all right, we spent money. Talking about Titans fans, not we and us. We spent money. We're good to go. We got a quarterback we're excited about. We got this great running back, and now we've added some pieces. Let's go forward and do this. I think the optimism is there to plug in it, because I'm trying to think going back. I know there's an instant, 15 with Mariota. They needed a quarterback because Mettenberger was awful, and Charlie Whitehurst never lived up to his hype. And so you're kind of excited about that. And then Mariota was decent, but not good.
I mean, he had some flashes, but
Yeah.
he didn't live up to what everybody hoped he was going to live up to.
Man, you got in trouble. I'd say I got in massive trouble for what I did with Mariota. You got a lot of backlash for what you did.
I got ratioed like no other.
I got Peter Jacobson tweeted me and called me trash
Oh, wow.
over a joke, over a damn joke.
Yeah.
And then so yours was hilarious.
I got I
Go ahead and say it.
I got unfollowed by a member of the organization. I'll just put it that way.
So did I. Same person.
Yep.
And I think it's right. If you can't take a joke, what was your Mariota joke? And it's a joke.
Right. So, and again, this is the problem with Twitter, because you don't, like, if you send multiple tweets, you don't always see the previous one. You just focus on the one. So
Yeah, right?
I was standing by the tunnel, and it was Ryan Tannehill's first start at home. And I had tweeted a picture of Tannehill running out of the tunnel. He's got his, he's pointing at the sky. And I had tweeted out, Ryan Tannehill is ready to go. And the next picture was Mariota, who's running out behind him. And it was a good picture. So I'm like, all right, I got to do something with this. And I want to have some fun.
Right.
And I said, and Marcus Mariota is ready, ... to put on his hand warmers because it's cold.
Yes.
Which, look, even if you're starting, you could wear hand
Yeah.
warmers. So I put that out and just got destroyed.
It took off like a rocket ship. Funny,
I
and
got
then,
destroyed. And look, looking back on it, it's still funny. Maybe should I've done, like, I remember another media member that kind of likes to troll, looks at me and goes, look, it's funny. I don't know if it was really necessary, but it was funny.
Was that Rex Road?
No.
Okay.
Andrew. His name is Andrew.
Okay.
Yeah. But look, it is what it is. But even to this day, like, Mariota slander is just not allowed. So
I laugh. Mine was the Thanksgiving. I did a thing on Channel 4 where we deep fried a turkey, and
Yeah.
they're like, "We need a name of that turkey." I said, "Well, the turkey is done. Let's call it Marcus." And he had already been benched. And so it just, people were laughing, and then it was a joke. And then when Peter Jacobson comes, and I wanted to tweet back to him like, "Do you even know Marcus's stats? Do you even?" I mean, it was just, I don't know.
So the actor Peter Jacobson, like from
the golfer.
Oh, the golfer. Okay.
Who's the actor?
He was on House and
I don't know that guy.
yeah.
No, this was the golfer. And I did tweet back to him and said, "Did you go and take up for Tiger Woods and went through all of his stuff?"
Hey, it's a fair
Laugh,
right.
Just laugh. That was it. And so, remember my boss came to Channel 4. He's like, "We need to." I said, "It was a joke. I'm sorry." "Well, you need to apologize." "I'm not apologizing."
I swear, our buddy Ricky, like, it's his favorite moment with me because of the backlash. He, like, anytime you mention that tweet, he's got it on the ready. Like, he's got it.
Oh, man.
He's got it ready to go. But But again, 615-737-1025, that's our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. Do you feel like this is excited? I don't know. What is the adjective to describe how you feel right now going into this draft? Because you've heard me say it, and I get what organization I'm talking about. I understand it's the draft and a lot of things can happen. But I truly feel like this 7th pick, whatever they do, I find it really difficult to screw up. You know, if they take Joe Alt, I'm happy. If they take Malik Neighbors, I'm happy. If they trade back and get more draft capital, I'm happy. You know, hopefully they still get a left tackle. I mean, there's people now that are saying, well, Alt, you know, they could trade back to 11 and Alt could still be there. Well, maybe. Depends on what everybody in front of him does. I don't think he will be.
Yeah, I just think, you know, the Vikings kind of scare me, what they want to do and move up. And there's always that one other team that moves up that's like, oh, I didn't see that team coming. So be prepared for chaos. And the Titans still might just say, you know what, we're going to move down and get draft cap. I always hate that. Swallow up draft capital. Get the sure thing.
Yeah, well.
Get the sure thing. How many times have we seen 3rd and 4th rounders? Well, we got 13 picks. I don't care.
Right.
Are they going to play? Are they going to start on day one? I mean, this player has got to start. Your first-round pick should start on day one. That's it. You should start on day one and be good to go. If you draft a guy that's not going to start on day one, don't draft him in the first round.
Right.
It's bottom line.
I agree. 615-737-1025. Adam in Portland wants to weigh in on our conversation. Adam, what's up?
Hey, Jason. So I've thought about it, and I've went back and forth on that. I don't know if you're like me or if you've just been locked in the whole time. I don't really care who they pick at this point because I feel like the boring pick, you're going to pick a lineman. And, like, that's not something anybody's going to be looking at tape and getting excited about. But at the same time, like, the most important need is a good left tackle. Like, that's obviously the most important pick. So I don't really care, dude. Like, I'm doing mocks, and I don't know – unless you traded back, I don't know any other pick for the Titans there except Joe Alt. Like, if you could trade back and somehow – I mean, somebody had said get both of Minnesota's picks. I don't think that's going to happen. Like, that's not fair to Minnesota, is it? Like, for number 7 to give up
Well, I mean,
picks?
you don't care. You shouldn't care about what's fair to Minnesota. I mean,
Right.
you know, if you're Rand Carthon, you go in there and you do what's fair for you.
But I don't think they would do that, though. That's what I'm saying. I think it's kind of boneheaded to think. But I think a great pick with them would be to just solidify the big need. Like, it's not exciting, but just get the need out of the way.
Sure. Thanks for the call, Adam.
That's
how you feel. And look,
right.
I'm fine with it, but I'm kind of more or less I'm good with option A, I'm good with option B, I'm good with option C. Like I feel like there's so many needs, and we won't revisit what we did the other day, but you know, with receiver, they've addressed it. They still need to address it in the draft.
Okay.
Like I'm not going to let off of that. Now, I'm totally fine not doing it at 7. If you feel like that you can pass on Adunze or Neighbors and feel good with that, and you take Alt, you have filled a big need, and you can get one at 38 or later on in the draft, then I'm cool with it. But you still have to address it.
Well, I got my opinion, but I always default back to Teron about, I mean, he knows quite a bit about, the draft, this team and the players, and, he's telling me Joe Alt. And so that just reassures me what I need. But I think your first or your 7 and your 38 have to be starters this year.
Yeah. I agree with that.
If you get a Joe Alt, great. At 38, and I don't know the defensive linemen are out there, but if you can find one out there that fits your need, you can plug in there, boom, you got the guy. I go back to, was it 09 when they drafted Kenny Britt and Derek Marks, 2 guys that started. You can say what you want about Britt. Britt was a hell of a talent, just he was a knucklehead. And Derek Marks came in and started on the line because they had lost Van den Bosch. Curse had been gone, and they plugged those 2 guys in. It was great. So I think if you get to 7, get Alt at 38, get a defensive lineman, let him start in day 1, you feel much better about this football team after the first and second round going forward.
Yeah, 100%. 615-737-1025. Chasing Big Joe, we're live today at the Omni Nashville Hotel at Kitchen Notes. Coming up next, Predators back in action tonight. They host the St. Louis Blues at Bridgestone Arena. We'll talk to our man Greg Wyshynski from ESPN, get his thoughts on the Predators, the rest of the NHL, including the brawl that happened last night between the Rangers and the Devils. I wonder if he was at it. We will discuss that coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe live today at the Omni Nashville Hotel at Kitchen Notes, 102.5, 106.3. The Game, as we do every Thursday at 9:30. We say hello to Greg Wyshynski from ESPN, senior NHL writer for them, presented by ESPN Bet. And Greg, I hope you were at the Garden last night.
I was not at the Garden last. I was there for the previous one where they tried to get Matt Rempe to fight, and he wouldn't because it was at a time when he had been fighting like everybody, and then the Rangers told him not to fight. So then the Devils, of course, called him a coward. And then, last night we all saw what happened at the top of the game. I'll say this: I'm in the minority on this amongst other Devils fans. I thought that was an embarrassment for the Devils last night. Like, I have no problem with them trying to square things with Matt Rempe after what he's done against that team and their previous meetings, injuring players and whatnot. Like, that's fine by me. What we saw at the beginning of the game last night is, look, I have a newborn daughter. I know what a full diaper looks like. That was a full diaper moment for the Devils. They blew their season by blowing a lead against the Penguins the night before. They had a lane to make the playoffs, and they absolutely crashed the car. It was just this moment of petulance and trying to, pop the fans one last time in a season that's been an abject disaster. It was one of those moments where it's like, congratulations, you bloodied Matt Rempe. Put up a banner. It's the only one you're going to get this year.
Let me ask this, Greg. So that was is that talked about before the game that's going to happen? Does everybody know that's going to happen? Do both teams know that's going to happen?
There's a bit of confusion as to exactly how it went down because both coaches last night, Peter Laviolette for the Rangers and Travis Green for the Devils, both kind of feigned responsibility for it. So, the Devils clearly put out a lineup that is out there for a fight, and the Rangers responded in kind with Rempe and some others. Obviously, if you really want to get granular about it, would the Rangers have their second best defensive pairing out there if they know everybody's just going to fight? Maybe not, but both teams were kind of coy about who started it. But let's be honest, you've got one team that basically called out Rempe and the Rangers after their last meeting to say that the vengeance was incomplete and that the story's not finished yet, and then you get a line brawl at the start of the game.
Okay, Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, Matt Rempe, Roman Reigns, obviously a parallel there in their careers.
I know Gary Bettman probably woke up this morning thinking, oh, my goodness. I got to tell you, Greg, at my gym this morning, that fight, that's all everybody was talking about. NHL was on the front page and the front minds of people late last night and this morning. They wake up. Is this good for hockey as we head into the playoffs, or are they like, not so good?
Of course. Listen, there's always going to be a reaction from some people that look at what happened last night and say, this is the reason why hockey will never grow out of its niche in the United States. And then there are people like you who correctly say, this is the thing that got people talking about hockey, right? I think as long as the NHL is in a place where this doesn't happen every week, where it's not a situation where people are talking about a catastrophic injury, the NHL, fighting's still legal. Fighting has always been legal under Gary Bettman. I think they knew that gradually, because of changes to rules, the way teams are made up, down in the minor leagues and stuff about fighting, they knew it was going to subside a little bit, but it's always been legal. There's thing happens, it gets people talking about hockey.
We're talking to Greg Wyshynski. We love talking about hockey from ESPN here on the Chasing Big Joe show. So the Predators have now dropped 3 in a row, and we've been talking about it. Roman Josi was on our show yesterday. That you look at Tuesday night's game against Boston, that one really stings because the Predators did play well. They played good enough that had they scored on the power play, they probably win that game. But Boston, was able to score shorthanded, and that ultimately was all they needed to do to skate away with that. Now you fast forward to tonight against St. Louis. This is the epitome of a playoff-type atmosphere with the Blues still having a chance to get into the playoffs. How do you view this one tonight?
Yeah, I think if you're the Predators, you want to start to kind of rebuild the momentum because, I do think that there's probably a legitimate concern around the team right now that they've peaked too early. You roll like they did after the Vegas thing and get yourself into a playoff spot and play the best, have like the second or third best record in the league after like February 1st. It's hard to maintain that momentum, but you certainly want to at least get 75% of it back before the playoffs hit to really start playing good hockey again. So, every team is kind of stressing this is a big test for us. I was talking to some people in Edmonton yesterday. You're like, this Dallas game is a big test for us last night. They failed spectacular. They might get held back a grade with the way they played in Dallas last night if that was a big test. But I do think for the Predators against the Blues, it's a good test. Like, show us that you've got the ability to play the kind of hockey that you've played for weeks on end against a team that's going to be very hungry. And then you can kind of just start rebuilding a little bit of that momentum as we get closer to the postseason starting.
Greg, Andrew Burnett was on our morning show and was talking about the game tonight and said, and I love this word always comes up in late March and April, desperation. And Andrew Burnett said, we need to be as desperate as the St. Louis Blues are tonight. Is that a good way for the Preds to approach this game?
It is, and I think it's something that a lot of coaches are dealing with. The situation in Philadelphia with the Flyers right now, and John Tortorella really calling out his team. I thought he had a really good point yesterday in his rant, which is that this team has played well enough to get to within playoff position, but they don't know how much better they have to play to actually make the playoffs. So I thought that was a really astute point. Like, it's almost like, they looked at the probabilities of them being a playoff team and said, all right, we're in, without really understanding that you got to close the deal. And I think a lot of coaches, Brunette included, are probably preaching that to their players. Look, things are looking good. Things are looking great. But when, to close out this thing and then also when the playoffs start, we've got to be better than we've ever been. And I think that's a really good message for teams at this point in the season.
I was looking at in the Western Conference in the Central Division. I mean, the Dallas Stars, they 8 in a row of rolling. So are we now seeing these teams to start picking up? Is that important with the Preds tonight? Need to stop this 3-game slide and kind of turn the table because you see teams like Dallas that are making that momentum push as we head into the playoffs? Yeah.
You don't want to have to play them, that's for sure. But you might be stuck playing them based on how the standings are going right now. Dallas is, I heard somebody say, scary. They're very scary. They were the bridesmaid in the conference last year, played really well. As a couple things break the right way, they're probably playing for the Stanley Cup last year. They're better than that team, with the acquisition of Chris Tanev at the trade deadline, with some of their younger players contributing. They've got maybe one of the deepest forward groups in the league, with every line able to do some damage. And then the really scary part is that the only flaw in their game throughout the season has been that Jake Ottinger, their star goalie, hadn't been playing up to his old standards. Well, he's been one of the best goalies in the league in his last, 5 or 6 starts. So if he's going and the rest of this team is going, they are a very formidable bunch in the Western Conference.
Greg Wyshynski is with us. Yeah, Dallas is, I think as the kids say, a wagon. The best way to put it.
No, without question. I actually literally tweeted a picture of a wagon yesterday after the game.
I was setting you up for that. That was perfect. I want to get real quick your opinion. I know you're a wrestling guy. Does Cody Rhodes, in fact, finish the story this weekend at WrestleMania?
Uh-oh.
I think if he doesn't finish the story, there's a very good chance that people in Philadelphia will grab their torches and march on WWE headquarters in Connecticut. It's gotten to the point where if it doesn't happen, I don't even know what the reaction is going to be. It's either going to be abject anger or maybe even apathy because they've just stretched this thing out too long. The real intrigue is what happens next with the bloodline. Clearly they screwed up the whole thing with The Rock and Roman, thinking that people wanted that when in fact they wanted Cody to finish the story. But that doesn't mean that people don't want Rock and Roman, which means that, after whatever happens in that title match with Cody, they're going to have to pivot to the next thing. And I think we all assume the next thing is going to be that The Rock takes over the bloodline, which will probably carry us to a match between those two at the next WrestleMania. So a lot of intrigue, a lot of pieces moving. I don't know, man. Those matches will be fun, but give me Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley. That's the match I'm most looking forward to maybe at WrestleMania because that's going to be an absolute banger.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Booker T going to join us in about 45 minutes, so looking forward to that.
Oh, my God, the king of the spinneroonie.
Exactly.
By the way, Greg, it's National Hug and News Person Day, so we'd like to give you a big old hug from Nashville, okay?
Well, I appreciate that you think I'm a news person.
Well, we're all in the news. You're in the news, so whether you work sports or news, you're one of those.
Some people may say that I'm in the media rather than being a news person, but I'll take it from you.
You got it, buddy.
Appreciate it, Greg. As always, we'll talk next week.
Take care.
See ya. Greg Wyshynski, senior NHL writer at ESPN, presented by ESPN Bet, joins us every Thursday at 9:30, and a man of many talents. Covers the NHL, covers loves wrestling, all those things.
And hugs.
And hugs. Do we have a question of the day? Did you come up with one, or is it more of the how you feel with the Titans draft?
Because it's 3 weeks from today.
Yeah, we do have a lot of responses on that, so we'll get to some of those coming up next. What is your feeling now with the Titans going into the draft 3 weeks from today? 615-737-1025. We're at the Omni Nashville Hotel today at Kitchen Notes, but our man, Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier, is at the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service.
Hey, the next time you need urgent care instead of sitting in a dreaded waiting room, call Medical House Calls to give you the care you need in the comfort of your home, office, or wherever you may be. Medical House Calls treats everything an urgent care can and provides a variety of preventative health care services, including IV therapy, NAD, and a cutting-edge weight loss program that is proven to work. Medical House Calls delivers the highest quality care for children, adults, and seniors. Also, scheduling appointments is super easy. Just go to medicalhousecalls.com. That's medicalhousecalls.com and click on Schedule an Appointment. It's that easy. Medical House Calls. When you're there, you go read all the great numerous reviews that Medical House Calls has gotten. It truly is a game changer. Medical House Calls. The nearest clinic is where you are.
Hey, tune in to 94.9 The Fan. Today is Vanderbilt baseball takes on LSU with pregame at 5:45. The first pitch at 6. Vanderbilt baseball is brought to you by Smoky Mountain Tops, your countertop experts. Visit SmokyMountainTops.com. Chasing Big Joe live today at the Omni Nashville Hotel at Kitchen Notes. Joe, you're on meal 3?
I am on meal plan 3, Chase.
Okay, meal plan 3.
As
We got the buffet going here.
Oh, that's packed
which is
out there. It's
awesome.
The food is so good. So it's the temptation of not getting up and wandering off during the show to start eating. So.
What's funny, this is one of those places that like they have a fabulous menu with lots to choose
Yeah.
from. But whenever we come here, I just go through the buffet that I realize like I've never even looked at the menu.
Yeah, you asked
I mean
for-
I have looked at the menu,
Right.
but like I don't remember because I always go through the buffet.
Earlier, like the waitress is like, "Can I help you?" Like, "Yeah, I'd like a menu." I'm like, "Me for what?" I mean, there's the best buffet in town. Sitting out there, coming up at 10 o'clock. Howard Johnson, Hojo from the New York Mets is going to join us.
I totally forgot he was a hitting coach with the Sounds too for a year.
Yeah, and his son is the head coach at FRA, your alma mater.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
We're all connected,
All connected.
pal. So I'm over the moon excited because this is my generation, right? You know, it'd be like you having Chipper Jones on.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm really
Which
excited about
I'm now
this.
going to try and make out.
And I'm thinking, you know, last night I was like, you know, we've had this discussion before, but if you get that one guest, I said you can get any guest you want to today. Who would you get? Because I'm so excited about Howard Johnson coming
This
on.
just for you, like for me.
For Chase McCabe.
Ooh. Chipper's up there because I've never interviewed like the first time I got to interview Tom Glavine was with Pogue, I think. I was giddy, like because it was Tom Glavine.
Right.
I've interviewed Dale Jr. You know, Dale Jr. would have been up there.
It's not an easy question.
No, it's a good question.
Mine is Joe Namath. I would love, because I've told you, I think he's one of the Super Bowl era, probably one of two of the most important people. Him and Jim Brown. Although Jim Brown was before Super Bowl, I get that, but as far as impacting us, and Namath is up there.
I'm gonna go wrestling.
Okay.
Triple H, Paul Levesque, who's basically running things now, because he's gone from being a jobber wrestler to being a Hall of Fame wrestler to now running the whole company.
Wow.
You know,
Isn't he married to one of them?
he's married to Stephanie McMahon.
Okay.
But like, I kind of look at the parallels of, you know, he started at the bottom. I started at the bottom here at the station and worked my way up. So
Please, if you get him on, please tell him that story.
I will,
Let's see.
and that I've always used the game as like my, you know, which is his
Right.
thing.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, good. What's his real name?
Paul Levesque.
Paul Levesque. Okay.
Yeah. So Triple H.
Yeah.
Hunter
remember-
Hearst Helmsley.
Remember when was it The Rock that hosted SNL like 20 years ago, and they all
Oh
showed
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Big
So,
Show and him and everybody.
Yeah. So The Rock and Roman Reigns were on the Tonight Show last night with Jimmy Fallon, and I did check some of it out. I haven't watched the Tonight Show in years,
Right.
even though I think Fallon is probably of all the late night people
Yep.
the funniest.
Yeah. I know.
You know, Colbert, I'm over, like
terrible.
too political.
Terrible.
But
Jimmy Kimmel, terrible.
yeah, but Fallon and I like I'm blanking Taylor Tomlinson that just started her show. She's pretty funny. I've watched a lot of her stand-up specials, so she's
I'll have
pretty
to
funny.
check her out.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, you'd like her. But yeah, they were on last night, and The Rock is just. He's just one of those guys that's just so talented. Like, he can play any role.
Well, thank you.
Like you. You know, he can be a good guy, a bad guy, whatever.
Yeah.
And just knows what he's doing. Booker T going to join us at 10:30, and I will certainly bring that up with him.
Well, I told you. You know, did you see the thing where the guy got the tattoo on his? So Rock had a meet and greet last week, and a guy said, "If I meet you, I'm gonna get a tattoo on my
Yeah.
arm." The guy put a tattoo on his arm. So The Rock says, "Oh my God, you did it! Enjoy WrestleMania." So The Rock's gonna fly this guy's
Yeah,
whole
he
family.
took care of his hotel,
Everything.
everything.
And it was on social media, a big deal yesterday. And I just said, you know, that's what McGavick football players do. We take care of people. We help people out.
The thing about that is, like, when I see stories like that, and like, you see stories all the time of Shaq just walking into a Best Buy and he'll buy like a
Yeah.
computer for a mom or
Yep.
something, you know. I hope if I am ever blessed enough to have that kind of wealth, like that is the kind of stuff I would do.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you asked what would you do with the $1 billion? Did anybody win last night?
No.
Okay. So what would you do with the $1 billion? Like, I would do stuff like that.
all the time.
Because it's yes, there is that it makes you feel good, but it's like
Oh yeah.
you're doing right.
Oh,
you know, and The Rock has been another one that he's done before is and it was on social media. He went to this event and there was a soldier there that had done like 3 or 4 tours in Iraq and you know and just one of the just badasses that just you know protecting our country. And had gotten back and everything, and his car broke down. Didn't have money to buy a car. So The Rock pulls up in his truck, and The Rock's got this big jacked up, you know, just truck that's got every bell and whistle you can imagine. And he's talking to the guy, and it's at like some appreciation day, and he's kind of hearing his story and stuff, and he's like, yeah, you know, we're kind of going through it right now, but we're gonna get there, and Rock looks at him and throws him the keys, and he goes, well, I hope this helps. And he goes, what do you mean? He goes, that's your truck now.
Wow.
And turns around and walks off.
Oh man.
And it's
That's
like,
cool.
you know, it's just that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, I like the one where Shaq was in a jewelry store, and this guy had his hunched over a counter. He's writing a bunch of stuff down, and the guy didn't realize Shaq was behind him. And I guess Shaq says, "What are you doing?" The guy says, "Well, I'm working out a payment plan to pay off this engagement ring. I want to marry this girl." And then Shaq puts his American Express right in front of him and says, "Man, don't worry about it." The guy looks up and is like, "Oh my God!" And Shaq's like, "Yep, here you go.
I got it."
Yep, and then they captured it on the security camera, and Shaq's like, "I don't want to talk about it, just you know." And bought the rounds. Like, that's really cool.
So he's told a similar story that because he does this stuff
right.
That one time he did it, and American Express thought his card had been stolen, and so it didn't. It declined it,
Oh, God.
and he had to like call and everything. he goes, I just had like $10,000 in my pocket, so I just pulled it.
Well, he was in town last Friday at some DJ event that he was doing.
I know.
down at Fifth and Broad.
He would be fun to have on the show.
Oh my God.
And I feel like he's one of those guys that if you just know how to get to him, he would do it.
Do you see the inside the NBA or what's the NBA show? Him and Barkley and all them.
Yeah, inside.
Somebody they had a reporter on site, and the guy's like, "Hey, Shaq, by the way, guess who was asking about you?" And Shaq was like, "Well, who?" And the guy's like, "Nobody." And then he did this whole like 5-minute. The show just spiraled out of control, and it was hilarious. But his I mean, we work with a lot of media people who would have taken umbrage at that. Like,
oh yeah,
how dare you make fun of me on the air? And Shaq just rolled with it. And it was 5 minutes of just pure hilarity because these guys didn't care and had a good time.
I tell people all the time that Inside the NBA is the best studio sports show on television, and it's really because it's because of Chuck and Shaq, really.
Yep, ever.
Now Kenny has his role. Kenny the Jet plays his role.
Yep.
Ernie is the perfect, mediator / point guard to keep everybody in check the best he can.
That's great.
But and like I like it when they have other they have the other guy that's in there, or Candace Parker's in there sometimes, but those four together are just fantastic.
Perfect.
Went down a rabbit hole, but who's coming up next?
Howard Johnson. Remember the 1986 New York Mets? Lives here in Nashville. Hojo will join us. Baseball season just got underway, so let's walk down memory lane with Howard Johnson for a little bit. It's be a lot of fun. He's coming up next.
We will do that. Coming up next, Chasing Big Joe live at the Omni Nashville Hotel. We are presented by Regal Realty Group, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, live today at the Omni Nashville Hotel at Kitchen Notes. We'll be here every Thursday, ready to check out that buffet. It's going to be awesome. Baseball season is underway, and you know we love talking all sports here on the Chase and Big Joe Show, and we're excited about our next guest. Hojo, Howard Johnson, of course, a longtime Met, played with the Tigers, won a couple of World Series, Rockies, Cubs as well. Howard, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good, guys. How you doing?
Doing fantastic. Thanks so much for doing this. Before we get into your career and everything, as a guy that spent his whole life in baseball as a player and a coach, what's your opinion of the recent rule changes that we've seen over the last few years to speed up the game, the pitch clock, all those things that baseball has done to try and speed it up and make it a little more exciting?
Well, there's definitely some rules that I don't mind. I think the pitch clock it has its purpose, and it seems like it's achieving that goal. I mean, the fans seem to like it. I'm okay with that. That when I was coaching the minor leagues, up to 2019 was my last year coaching there. We had the pitch clock already in place. They had been doing it for about 7 or 8 years already. So there was already that kind of built into the minor league system, and I thought it went good. I thought it kept the games moving. So a lot of the stuff that MLB is doing now was already kind of in place, and they were experimenting with it, and I think the results were positive. So I'm good with that one. I don't mind the pitch clock one. The other one I do like a lot, and I'll kind of explain it. You guys might have a different opinion, but I do like the fact that you can't shift the players the way they did before. I think that the way they were doing it up until this last year, I think that they really were taken away from the spirit of the game as far as, how hard it is to actually get a hit. I mean, it was already tough. When guys were standing where they're supposed to be standing roughly, I mean, of course, you're going to move around some, but when guys are standing like normal, like the way they had it for, 100 years or whatever, to hit 300, that's 3 out of 10. You're basically almost a Hall of Fame hitter. So now you're going to put everybody on one side of the field or the other. Kind of takes away from the spirit of the game, the way the game is supposed to be played. And I know, and I've heard all the rebuttals to that. We'll just hit the ball over the other way. It's not that easy, first of all, and pitchers just aren't going to give you pitches to do that with. Drop a bunt down, do this. Well, you could drop a bunt down, you do it one time, then they put the third baseman right there. Now you've got a little hole to shoot through at shortstop, and it's just kind of the thing that fans don't understand about that is, I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but the thing that fans don't understand about the whole shift thing is that when you ask a guy such as, I say, Big Papi or, Trout or those kind of guys to do something that takes away from what they're really good, their strengths are. Like, for example, I use Big Papi because it's an easy illustration. He likes to pull the ball. He's not fast. If he gets on first base, he's clogging the bases. So if you're forcing him to just try to get a base hit and get on, that's kind of a win for the defense. And that's what fans don't really understand, that just him getting on base isn't necessarily a win for the Red Sox. It was a win for the defense. And so you're forcing players to do something that takes away from their biggest strengths. And I think that kind of interrupted the way the game's supposed to be played, where you have, pitchers challenging hitters and, let the best man win, that sort of speak, as opposed to forcing a guy to do something he's not good at.
We're talking to two-time World Series champion Howard Johnson on the Chase and Big Joe show. And Howard, thank you for doing this today. Although you're not coaching in the minor leagues, you're still coaching because we talked about a dear friend of mine. You coach his son in the travel league team. Talk about now coaching the youth and how much fun you're having doing this.
Well, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I like what we're doing with our players, our kids. In Nashville, there we have a good program, the Hojo baseball program, and we've got I think 15 or 16 teams. I coached the 17 U's. We started last fall, and we continue this summer. And I like what we're doing. I mean, I try to teach the game. I tell them right up front. These older guys. I try to tell them that I'm going to coach you guys like you're professionals. I'm going to treat you that way, and so we're gonna practice and we're gonna play, that style of baseball. So I want to introduce them to what that's like, and what I enjoy about coaching is I can give them as much information as they can handle, because I've seen it all at every level. So I kind of understand like where guys are now, and then where you like to see them, let's say in a couple of years, the kind of level of play that they need to be at. So I think having that perspective, the players like it, the parents certainly like it. We practice a lot more than we play, and that's a big hit because nowadays most travel programs spend more time playing than they do practicing. And these guys need reps. They need to work on their game. They need to understand how to play the game of baseball, and not just up there playing and trying to be a showcase player. That's not what it's about.
I was telling a few people that you were coming on today, and immediately it goes back to the 86 Mets. You're a part of that team. Why is that team still so revered, Howard, 38 years later?
I know, it's crazy, isn't it? It's I think because there's so much surrounding the way we won, actually, is a big part of it. Everybody remembers the ball going through Buckner's legs. And even young players today, they've heard of it. They've seen stuff on television about it. Fans just remember it. It was such a great World Series. But the whole postseason leading up to how we beat Houston, how Boston even got to the World Series beating Anaheim. And then, of course, our World Series matchup was so good. Each game was just kind of, a lot of drama. But the players that were on the Mets at that time, many of those guys went on to have great careers elsewhere as well as with the team. So you had a good core group of guys that really kind of captured baseball, and they kind of held it for a while. And this year, Doc and Straw are getting their numbers retired by the Mets. So it just keeps, the whole legend about the team just keeps on going. And I think it was at that time in baseball where it was still personal, like players, fans fell in love with the players and the teams, and you didn't have all the distractions that you have now, where you've got, so much ESPN, so much MLB Network, so much of social media that it kind of takes away from the personal connection with the players that we used to have.
We're talking to Howard Johnson, Hojo, here with us on the Chase and Big Joe show. I'm curious, fans all have their teams and, the rivalries and thing. What was a team that you just, every time you played them, you couldn't stand them or you hated playing there, but it was also like in a way that it got you more fired up when you were going to go play that team? Is there one that stands out?
Yeah, that's an easy one. It was always St. Louis. St. Louis was the biggest rivalry we had. There were, the other teams in our division were good. They each had their time. So in the beginning, when I got there, was St. Louis. They were the team that was winning the East. I hated playing those guys because just the way they played, the arrogance that they carried, it kind of rubbed us wrong. But they were in the way of what we wanted. You know, they won the World Series in '82. You know, they were kind of like the team that everybody wanted to beat in the division. And so, you know, playing those guys, it became very personal. The fans, you know, didn't like the Cardinals. Cardinals didn't like us. The only thing I did enjoy playing there, I loved playing in Busch Stadium. I love the atmosphere that our games created when we played them. The fans were always coming out. It was loud. It was always good baseball, and it kind of brought out the best in both of our teams. And two different style of play. Those guys were very speed oriented. You know, and of course they had Jack Clark, but mostly speed and kind of scored runs differently. We both were built around our pitching staff and our bullpen, but we were a little more power driven. We had our speed, but they were over the top with what they were able to do, you know, with their legs, and that was a challenge for us. But we found a way to get past it. It took a little bit, but we did take them finally in '86, and we I still remember those games, and they remember those games. Believe me, if you called up one of their guys, if you called up Ozzie right now, he'd probably say the same thing. Oh, we hated them, you know. So it was St. Louis was that team, but later on, you know, Pittsburgh became that team that we had big rivalry with, and the games we played with them were extremely intense.
So you were lucky enough to win 2 World Series. What was a crazier post-game celebration right after the game, 84 with the Tigers or 86 with the Mets?
There's no doubt 86 with the Mets, because the way we won in '84 was kind of a fait accompli. We were gonna win. We had the best team all year in the American League, and we felt like we were going to, you know, win the playoffs, and we beat Kansas City 3 straight, and then went into the World Series and took care of San Diego in 5 games. So that was kind of a no-brainer. That was easy. We expected to win. The celebration was great. Don't get me wrong. Team hadn't won in Detroit since '68, and so you know, '84 came along and it was special. But the '86 Mets, the last time the team had won was '69, and it had been a while, and the team just kind of, as if it was the right team. Just a lot of hype with the players, the young players that had come up through the system, and the trades that we had made. It was just a very complete team. And I think fans just fell in love with the style of play that we had. So when it was over after Game 7 of '86, you know, after the Buckner game in Game 6, that was amazing. And the celebration was we had climbed a huge hill, and our teams they expected us to win. We still had to climb a big mountain to get over it, and we did. We were able to do that in a crazy way. So fans just fell in love with that whole story.
It's great. We're talking to Howard Johnson. My phone I'm getting all these text messages from questions from friends, but I got to ask you the most obvious one, Howard, is where were you when the ball went through Bill Buckner's legs?
I was on deck.
Ooh.
So I was getting ready to hit. I was kind of like waiting to get my turn. I'd faced Stanley before, so I was kind of watching. You know, I knew what he had, and just watching the at bat with Mookie, just getting ready to hit. So when the ball went by him, by Buckner, you know, I had a good view of that, obviously. And of course, you know, when Ray came in to score, I was the first guy there to meet him. So it was kind of crazy on the field that night, but I was right there in the middle of it, so I was thankful for that.
That's just, I mean, iconic moment. We all remember. I mean, hell, that's Goodwill Hunting is probably based off the Buckner thing. One more question from a friend of mine. Dave wants to know, Oral Hershiser in '88 was so dominant. Have you ever seen a pitcher that dominant before or after that you faced ever? Because for fans don't realize, in '88, Oral Hershiser, he weighed 130 pounds? Nobody could hit him. How great was he facing him, Howard?
he was very difficult to face. I mean, I knew Oral from previous years. We played winter ball together in the Dominican, and I liked Oral. He was a good guy, Christian guy, very, very big time competitor. But he was on a streak. I think that year in '88, he set the record for scoreless innings. That was held for a long time, I think, by Drysdale.
Yeah.
It was like crazy amount of innings, 50-something innings, without giving up a run. And he broke that record. So he went into the postseason on a major, high as far as where he was pitching, the quality of his starts. So he did what a lot of teams do now. I mean, they'll use starters in the bullpen in a close game in a series. That happens a lot now. But Hershiser was one of the guys that started that, and he came in the game in relief and beat us, and he started games and beat us, and it wasn't like anything was. But he was able to pitch, and he hit his spots, and he just had uncanny location. Rarely made a mistake. Wow. And I think between him and Tommy Lasorda, just getting that team ready to play, because we that year we played them. We beat them 11 out of 12. It was
man.
On the year we beat them 11 out of 12. So they really had something to prove. It just goes to show you it's hard to beat a team 12 out of 12 times, right? So
it is.
They pretty much flipped the script on us, and guys hit home runs against our pitching staff that hadn't done that. Mike Scioscia, T-Bone Shelby. These guys had certain at bats that you just that didn't happen before and never happened afterwards. It just kind of happened that series. So it was just unbelievable.
Well, Hojo, this has been a lot of fun. I got to say this. I know your son is the head coach at Franklin Road Academy. I'm a proud graduate of the Panthers, so go Panthers, and glad he's over there.
Yeah, Glenn, I was just talking to Glenn before I was talking to you guys. They won a good game last night. He's got a very young team. He's recruited well. He's got some good young players. I think the best for this year is still ahead of them. They're starting to put it together, but when these young guys, he's got sophomore, freshman guys, they're gonna dominate in a couple of years. So it's good. It's good to be an FRA Panther right now.
No doubt about it. Hey, thanks so much for doing this. Enjoyed the walk down memory lane. We'll definitely do it again soon. Absolutely, anytime, fellas, anytime. Thank you very much, Howard Johnson, Hojo, joining us here on the program. Really good stuff, Joe. That was fun.
I just these legendary guys, these athletes, and the stories, and growing up, I'm like, my grandpa talking. I don't hear that stuff, and now you're like, God, I love these stories. I just revel in them, and you watch him, you see him, and that guy was so iconic on that '86 team, and '84 the Tigers, and after that he had a nice career at the Mets, 87, 80, 89, 90, and I'll go
our resident Met fan has thoroughly enjoyed that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Willie D
gets it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he gets it.
Willie
for sure.
Seinfeld and Billy Crystal, right? All the Mets fans.
Coming up at 10:30, we'll be joined by WWE two-time Hall of Famer Booker T. So looking forward to that. Go to theGameNashville.com/bracket challenge and fill out your 14 bracket to compete to win prizes, including tickets to see Creed at Ascend Amphitheater on August 13th. The 102.5 The Game Bracket Challenge is brought to you by ESPN Bet Sportsbook, Twin Peaks, and Volunteer Hose and Gasket.
All right, man, listen up. You've put this off for way too long. It's time to get it done and move forward with your sex life. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is a leader in bedroom confidence. The reality is pills often quit working, and guys start making excuses for not coming to bed. Do you know that studies show that men will be more irritable and argumentative before bed just to avoid failing at intimacy? Yeah, I know, we all hate going to the doctor, but the Tennessee Men's Clinic was created in 2014 to take care of guys just like us. For a decade, the urologists and providers at the Tennessee Men's Clinic have helped guys with ED and weight loss, and now they offer aesthetic enhancements and cosmetic procedures. Their ED and weight loss treatments truly change lives, and with no surgery, they're seeing success rates as high as 90%. They specialize in seeing guys who think they're out of luck, regain hope that they can be successful in the bedroom and beyond. They even offer same or next day appointments. That's how great they are. Guys, it's time to feel amazing and hit your goals this year. Stop thinking about it and get in there. Call 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090, or go online, TennesseeMen'sClinic.com, to book an appointment today. That's TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063, The Game. We're live today at the Omni Nashville Hotel at Kitchen Notes. We'll be here every Thursday. Looking forward to that. About to check out that buffet. Booker T coming up in just a few minutes, two-time WWE Hall of Famer. But you know what, JoJo? Let's give away some tickets.
All right, I like
to the Geico 500 at the Talladega Superspeedway, Sunday, April 21st. You must answer this trivia question, though. The first person to tell Dr. Crane The answer to this question, you must call, do not text. Call 615-737-1025. You'll win a pair of tickets to the Geico 500. The record, the speed record at the Talladega Superspeedway is 212.809 miles per hour.
What?
Set by who, or is it whom,
Either one.
in 1987.
How fast again?
212.809 miles per hour
In a stock car.
in a stock car. This was before restrictor plates.
Well,
this is why they have restrictor plates.
Well, how fast does Daytona go now? The fastest in Daytona.
They might hit 200,
Oh, okay.
but usually they've pulled the horsepower back, so usually not.
So this guy hit 212.
212.809 at Dega and 210.364 at Daytona.
Goodness.
Who did it? 615-737-1025.
I mean, I've done 100 going down Bradley Parkway, but, I mean, I couldn't imagine.
200, almost 213 mile an hour.
No, there's no way.
Yeah.
What's a G-force on that?
Um,
Like a G-force, like a
I don't know.
G-force.
I only know about G strings, not G forces.
Oh, Chase! This is a family show
Sorry.
to Omni National Hotel.
Sorry.
How dare! When we did the thing at the Speedway 2 years ago, what was the G's then? Because I almost puked.
It was a lot. Yeah, I mean, you could feel it, like feel your, the skin on your face just flapping in the wind.
Awful.
Yeah. So 615-737-1025. First one to get that right will win a pair of tickets to the Geico 500.
We're excited about our next guest.
I'm very excited about our next guest, Booker T, two-time WWE Hall of Famer. Obviously, he has a very busy schedule, so he and I got together yesterday and recorded this fantastic conversation with Booker T. You will not want to miss that. That is all coming up next here on the Chase and Big Joe Show, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. All right, we've been talking a lot about ESPN Bet. Obviously, it's a big weekend. You definitely want to download the ESPN Bet app because it's ready to take you through all the huge sports moments this spring. The exclusive sportsbook of ESPN has it all, including offers and promotions from personalities like Scott Van Pelt and Stephen A. Smith, from the playoff intensity to getting on the links and out to the ballpark. There's no better time to be a sports fan. New users, check this out. You can make any sportsbook bet if you're a new user, and then you get $100 in bonus bets just for making that bet in the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Download ESPN Bet today. What a play. You must be 21 years or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Dig it, sucker!
Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. WrestleMania weekend. 2 nights in Philadelphia. Really, it's more than that now with SmackDown and the Hall of Fame and WWE World and Raw and all these things. And we have a very special guest joining the show. 2-time WWE Hall of Famer Booker T is on the line with us, and he will be in Philly all weekend, also for NXT. Book, how are you?
Oh, man, I'm excited, man. Getting ready for Stand and Deliver. And I'm packing as we speak.
Yeah, you're going to have a busy weekend, that is for sure. Stand and Deliver on Saturday, which NXT has been so much fun to watch as of late with, what Shawn Michaels has done there and obviously Triple H for so long. It was just in Clarksville, Tennessee not too long ago. How much fun are you having being a part of NXT?
It's crazy. I have my wrestling school, Reality Wrestling, and I work with students and young people, and it's my wheelhouse. Being able to, try to mold the young people, try to, motivate them. When I was a kid, all I needed was a pat on the back and told that I could do this. There's so many guys in NXT that's so talented, but they just need that pat on the back and to be told that they can do it. And for me to be there, I'm living my best life right now in this business. Never in a million years would I've dreamt. I thought that I would be in this position at this stage in my career, but I'm having so much fun right now working with NXT.
How important is it that knowing it's WrestleMania weekend and, you got Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns and The Rock and all these guys coming back, but for the stars of NXT and, the stars of tomorrow to get their time too, to be a part of this weekend?
Nah, I was just talking about that just last night. As far as this Stand to Deliver, this is, those young guys' WrestleMania moment. This is that time that they, put in so much work all year to get to this moment. And this is the preparation, this precursor to what they're going to be dealing with in the future. And that is trying to make it to that main roster, make it to that main event of WrestleMania. So this is a huge, huge week for so many the guys and girls at it's almost their Reality Wrestling at WWE, but I'm excited. I'm almost giddy at this point. I thought the love for the game would be kind of like dulling a little bit, but right now it seems like it's high as it's ever been.
We're talking to Booker T, Hall of Famer. Now, you've wrestled at WrestleMania. You've got to see it from the other side when you were in WCW. What was it like going from seeing what WWE would do every year with WrestleMania when you were in WCW to actually being a part of it and being able to wrestle at WrestleMania and have those moments?
Yeah, I mean, when you was in, like back in the day for me, being in WCW, watching that play out, man, you want to be a part of that. Just watching the show on Monday night, a lot of times, seeing the action was always, some blood. It was always guys going out there, going toe-to-toe. And I wanted to be a part of that. For me, the dream, the goal, when I first got into this business was to headline WrestleMania at least once, and to get to that point, it's an awesome feeling. It's people say, how did it feel? How did it feel? Like you're asking me that question. It's undescribable. It really is undescribable that moment. But like The Undertaker told me the first time I walked out on that stage at WrestleMania, he told me to stop and take it in for just one moment. And I remember stopping, taking it in for that one moment, and I appreciate him for telling me that because I wouldn't have done it. And, man, what a moment. What a moment it was.
We're talking to 2-time WWE Hall of Famer Booker T, who is on the line with us WrestleMania this weekend. When you look at the wrestling business, and you've been in it for a very long time, you've seen different eras of the wrestling business with WWE and Triple H and his leadership and everything that's happened there. Where is this business right now? Do you feel like it's in the best place that it either has been ever or has been in a long time?
Honestly, I've been saying that about professional wrestling now for like the last 5 years or so, just because of, the independent wrestling world. The independent wrestling world is so strong right now. Guys can actually make a living on the independent scene if they're good enough, if their star power is big enough. And that right there, that's just the beginning of it. The wrestling business, as far as WWE, it has never been as big as it is right now. And I just look at it as, everything changes, the evolution. Of course, I wish I was, a part of this stage of the game just because the money is just crazy. These guys getting paid big money. But we got paid pretty good in our day. But to see what Triple H is doing with the WWE as far as knowing what the young guys are all about, having that hand, that finger on the pulse of the business. Shawn Michaels, there again, is another guy who has been in it and has worked at that top level, that major level, know exactly what these guys are, embarking upon. So for me, to just be a part of this evolution of professional wrestling right now is pretty awesome.
Now, looking at this weekend, the main event on Sunday night is going to be Roman Reigns and then Cody Rhodes trying to finish his story. But The Rock's come in here. The Rock has come back, and you've had some battles with The Rock over the years. I look at what he's doing and how he's able to just change on the fly, because you know how this business can be. Sometimes you got to change your plan. He's gone from being one of the biggest baby faces in the world to being one of the best heels in the world, where he has everybody eating out of the palm of his hand, enjoying the ride that The Rock has taken us on. How crazy has that been to watch over the last 6 weeks or so, and what The Rock has been able to do?
It's been extraordinary, actually. You said something there, to be, one of the best heels, in the business, and then to be one of the best baby faces in the business. It takes being one of the greatest actors, in the world to do that. You know what I mean? So that's what I really think has really shook up this whole WrestleMania with The Rock coming back. Everything was, off the rails there for a second, and then The Rock had to totally transition into something else. Totally had to like a chameleon change his spots, on a dime, and that's what this business is truly all about. I do not think this WrestleMania would have the buzz that it has without The Rock being a part of it, with this bloodline storyline, with Cody Rhodes trying to finish the story. I do not think it would be the same if it wasn't for The Rock.
And you mentioned the bloodline storyline and what Roman has done basically since 2020. This is a better part of 4 years since he's been doing this. And, for the longest time, you see a storyline go for a few months, and then, you'd feud with somebody and you go on to something else. And this has just been building and building, and Paul Heyman's had his hands on it and all these things. How impressed have you been with Roman, though, as he's been able to grow this character over the course of the last 3.5 years?
Very, very impressed. But I've been impressed with Roman, for quite some time now. I've always put Roman in the upper echelon as far as professional wrestlers go. I don't think the storyline, with the bloodline could have been done without, one like a Roman Reigns, just because, Roman has been the consummate professional. He's the guy that goes out and performs with every guy, and every guy that he performs with has the best match, perhaps of their careers. That right there tells me what kind of a worker he is. That tells me, he's a student of the game, as well as his IQ is very, very high. No matter who he's working with, he brings the best out of that guy that he's working with. And I've worked with guys like that before, and when you get in the ring with him, you go, man, it's almost like a night off. And for the last 4 years plus, it's been like that for Roman Reigns. To watch the growth of Roman Reigns coming out of that group, the Shield until today, is night and day, and he deserves everything he gets.
Speaking of growth, Cody Rhodes, I know you obviously knew Dusty. You've known Cody a long time. He left to go and kind of figure out where his career was going to go. He came back, one of the biggest stars in professional wrestling. Again, you talk about impressed and watching a guy grow. How impressed have you been with Cody that he was able to take that chance, bet on himself, and then come back bigger and better than ever?
I mean, you may not remember, but I've always been impressed with Cody Rhodes. The last angle he was a part of before he left WWE to embark on his journey to become, the guy that he is today was with me. You know what I mean? I saw something in Cody Rhodes. I always thought that Cody was a star. I always thought he belonged, with the Randy Ortons, the Batistas, of the world. I just thought he was, that guy. And now going out there and proving it to himself, because Cody Rhodes was a guy who was pretty much born into this business. Cody Rhodes was a guy that was born into the WWE. Cody Rhodes was a guy who had never worked any independent dates or anything like that, but to push himself to go out there and do that, to prove to the WWE as well as the world that he is truly that guy. I remember seeing Cody on a lot of those independent shows when he was out there, and Cody would come dressed to the nines, man, suited and booted, man. Nobody else would be like Cody. So Cody, he's paved his own way. He's come back home to the WWE, and now the only thing he has left is to complete his story, that Dusty Rhodes will be so proud of watching Cody go out there and do at WrestleMania. I wish that's one wish that I wish I could have, and that would be for Dusty Rhodes to be there to see it.
Yeah, it would be fantastic. It's going to be a fun weekend for sure, Booker. I know you are busy. You're everywhere with NXT and all of these things, but it's a pleasure to get to talk to you. And I got to ask, can we get a Shucky Ducky before we get out of here?
Oh, man, Shucky Ducky, quack, quack. Oh, yes, man. It's going to be good, man. Can't wait for NXT going downstairs to deliver this week. I cannot wait. Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes in the main event. It's going to be awesome, man.
It is going to be fantastic. Have a blast, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Appreciate it, Chase. Talk soon.
That is two-time Hall of Famer Booker T and the 5-time WCW champion. We all remember it. Really awesome to talk to him as WrestleMania this weekend on Peacock in Philadelphia. Really looking forward to it. I told you we're going to get some wrestling in, and I'm going to give you my predictions before we get out of here this week. More Chase and Big Joe coming up next. 102.5, 106.3 The Game, live today at Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. The Predators royalty.
Yeah.
Stopping by to say hi.
I mean, are you kidding me?
Sean Henry, Michelle Kennedy.
Holy cow.
That means that we're going to win tonight. We are going to win tonight. You heard it here first. I'm Rex Rhodes' boss. It doesn't matter. Predators in action tonight against the St. Louis Blues. Max Hers will have the pregame for you at 6 o'clock. Puck drop just after 7. Really appreciate Booker T for joining the program. Really good stuff with him. WrestleMania this weekend. Tomorrow, I'll give my WrestleMania predictions.
I look forward to it. Again, as a guy who watches wrestling like from the outside looking in, and you're obviously involved inside the ring with knowledge and everything, I'm always amazed how popular and beloved those guys are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. It's absolutely blows me away how many people follow them.
And it's one of those things like, look, if you like it or you don't like it, whatever. As Ric Flair once said, whether you like it or you don't like it, learn to love it because it's the best thing going today.
Stop doing that.
Why?
Because you were getting into it.
I know. I wanted to. But, let people enjoy it. And there's the – it's fake. Whatever. It's still real to me, Dan. So, appreciate Booker T for joining the show. All right, Nick, let's get to it. What day is it? And celebrity birthdays.
All right, gentlemen, today we have National Jeep 4x4 Day. I do not have a Jeep 4x4, but it is a good car.
Did you ever have a Jeep 4x4, Joe?
I used to have one.
You seem like a Jeep guy.
I used to have one.
No. All right, go ahead, Dr. Crane.
Other one we have, Joe's mentioned before in the show, Hug a News Person Day. That is something
nice.
I'll need to
Very
find.
nice.
I don't know. Let's see, International Carrot Cake Day. Big carrot cake guy. Really? Okay. Other one we have here is National Burrito Day.
I do love some burritos.
Like that.
Yep, a little breakfast burrito sounds good too. National Cordon Bleu Day.
It's not bad. Cordon Bleu's good. I had
Yep.
that at every high school reunion I've been to. They always serve Cordon Bleu chicken. I'm like, okay.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why.
Interesting. National Vitamin C Day.
Sunshine, baby.
Yep, drink your Sunny D, I guess, or whatever people drink. Ramen Noodle Day. That's another one. We also have here to finish it all off, Tell a Lie Day.
Oh.
It's every day for a lot of people.
Yes,
All
it
right.
is. All right, celebrity birthdays.
Yeah, this morning live at the Omni Nashville Hotel downtown. Thank you for being on there every Thursday, having fun and hanging out. So thank you, Todd Rodermel. All right, celebrity birthdays. Here we go. First birthday today is, it's pulled up correct, Clive Davis. The legendary Clive Davis. How old is he today?
81.
77.
92.
Jeez.
He is 92 years old. Robert Downey Jr.
Ooh.
How old is he today?
64.
59.
59 exactly.
Oh, nice.
And
Good
Dr.
job.
Crane, that might be the first time you've gotten one dead on since we started the new point scale.
It's been a while, yeah. I think that's the first point I've had since Monday.
Good.
Proud of you.
Goodness. All right. Singer Jill Scott.
48.
44.
52. Actress Natasha Lyonne. Wasn't she in Orange is the New Black? She just hosted Saturday Night Live a couple months ago.
I'm going to say 38.
33.
45. The very funny Eric Andre. How old is he today?
42.
37.
41. Nick's up 2-1. I like this. Actor singer Jamie Lynn Spears. Did she used to live here?
Maybe.
Brittany's sister?
Oh, yeah, Brittany's sister. All right, so I'm going to say she's 35.
38.
33. We're tied at 2. The legend, coach, actor Craig T. Nelson.
74.
83.
80. Singer Steve Gatlin of the Gatlin Brothers, who lives here in Nashville.
82.
79.
73. Writer-producer David E. Kelly, who created Ally McBeal, The Practice, and is married to Michelle Pfeiffer. David E. Kelly.
68.
71.
68 exactly. Chasers storm back. He's up 4-2. Let's see who else here. Man, a lot of people have never. Actress from Facts of Life. She played Jo in the Facts of Life. Nancy McKeon. How old is Nancy McKeon?
72.
77.
58. Ooh. All right, here we go. The last one. If Chase gets this one, he wins. Magician David Blaine.
55.
This is tough. I'm going to go. We're going to go 50. 57.
He's 51. That being said, Chaser wins it 4-2. He's dominating the week. Well done, Chase.
Thank you very much. That will do it for us from Kitchen Notes today here at the Omni Nashville Hotel. Thanks to their wonderful staff and Todd Rodomel for having us here. We'll be here every Thursday.
Yeah, I love Omni Nashville Hotel. Hey, as we close our shows every day to the guys out there, listen, it's okay not to feel okay. If you need to talk to somebody, before you do anything, please call 988 on your cell phone. Somebody that's there always to talk to you. If you need to reach out immediately, you can reach out to Chase and I. You can find us on all the socials. And as we tell you every day, you are tremendously loved. We love you, and our world is a better place because you are here. Please know that, and please know we love you.
Amen to that. Peace, love, rock and roll. Predators tonight. Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace coming up from Bridgestone Arena next.